CBW Radio UK Studios in Chelmsford, this is Off the Record with Big C and his trusty companions, Jazzy Geoff and Stinky Pete.
Hello and welcome to everyone. Thanks very much for watching or listening, whatever you're doing. On Facebook, we're live on Facebook, we're live on X, we're live on YouTube. And this will be, you might be listening to us on Spotify. But if you are, you're not listening now, probably. So, well, you're not listening now. You'll be listening another day. Welcome to Stinky Pete, to Off the Record, and Jazzy Geoff, who's with me as well. Two of us, at least. I'm not sure about Jazzy Geoff, actually. We're all suffering at the moment. Well, two of us, 2/3 of us are suffering with various ailments. You're all right, tickety-boo?
It's a tickety-boo.
You're tickety-boo, fit as a fiddle.
Fit as a fiddle, tickety-boo.
Tickety-boo. And Stinky Pete, we don't need to go into details about your issues of late.
Japanese flag. That's all I'm saying.
Japanese flags, all you're going to say. We know what you mean anyway.
Japanese flag.
Japanese flag, right, the imagery. I mean, I've got all sorts of cough syrup and nasal sprays and water here, and if I fall asleep with this Lemsip that I'm having, other cough hot drinks are available, but not as good. If I fall asleep, then just carry on without me. Carry on without me, and I'll just switch off here somewhere when I wake up. Yes. So how are we apart from that? Are we good? Football? Yeah. Deserved. Do you think we deserve to beat United? Did you see the game? Yeah.
I saw the highlights, and I thought that we didn't play very well in the first half. But I thought we played a lot better in the second half, and they were rubbish. So, I think if
we definitely had more chances to them, and I think had we won the game, no one could have complained in the end. It was such a great way to finish the game, but then they ended up scoring a goal down the other end, which is very boring.
Annoying.
It is very annoying, to say the least. But I was thinking before that last corner was taken. Sorry, Geoff, I'll have a word with you in a minute as well about this if you want. I was thinking as that last corner was taken, it reminded me much of the Europa League final when United got a corner right at the last second, and I had enough. I couldn't watch that. And we hadn't won a trophy for how long? I went in the kitchen and didn't watch it. And that was worse because Sarah shouted out, "Oh no!" When they hit the side netting, she thought it had gone in. But Sam actually said, "Oh yes." I didn't hear that bit, so I wandered in thinking that we'd let a goal in, and found out we hadn't. And wonderful stuff. So I thought, well, I didn't watch that one. I'm watching this one. They didn't score that one. They won't score this one, and then they nodded it in. Oh well, what can you do? It is a bit.
The big fella at the back post again.
Big fella at the back post.
Well, we were talking about that last week.
We were talking about Stinky Pete being at the back stick, weren't we? Yeah. No, I don't know who it was meant to be marking Delit, but
clearly nobody.
No, that's true. There wasn't anybody. And as I read somewhere on Twitter, he's jumping around celebrating it as if he didn't give us our best moments in the semi-final out of the Champions League and the final of the Europa League,
exactly.
Both times, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, what have we got today? Well, this is exciting. I'm
so excited I can barely contain myself.
Which has clearly been your problem all day.
It has. Yes.
Don't make me laugh, otherwise I'll be muted. You might hear me muting the mic a little bit actually as well when I'm coughing. Like that.
Excellent.
Right. What have we got? Well, yes. Well, we've been bemoaning. I think that's an accurate word. All the lists, the Rolling Stone greatest list, the 500 greatest albums, the 500 greatest songs, blah, blah, blah. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and their inductees and nominees as well, to be fair, are nonsense these days. So we thought, why not do one ourselves? So we can do it. And this is the day where we start. We're going to have a special Off the Record Music Hall of Fame. And we are going to be suggesting nominees to go into the Hall of Fame, our Hall of Fame. By the end of the show, we'll have some inductees. We're going to maybe suggest 5 or so each today. I've suggested the letters A to E, just to sort of, I don't know, give us something to go by. And yeah, and that's it. And then we'll discuss those, the merits of having them in the Hall of Fame, our Hall of Fame, in capital letters Hall of Fame. And yeah, at the end we'll know. We'll have some actual, after all the nominees that we'll suggest, and we'll have some actual inductees. If that makes any sense to you whatsoever.
I feel suitably induced.
Are you good? And Stinky Pete is excited. So we're all good.
Look, it's my excited look.
I could crush a grape. Who said that? Someone did, didn't he?
Was it Les Dawson or something?
No, it was one of those comedians, wasn't it? One of those northern comedians. Well, at least you're not saying I could shit a brick. I suppose that would be.
No, okay, I wish I could.
After your days. Okay, so what are we going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do. I suggested to both of you today, before we give these nominees, there are obviously some obvious ones to go in. And I think we should choose one each of those just to start off the proceedings. So, in other words, the 3 inaugural inductees into our rock. Well, it's not just rock. It could be blues, jazz, country, Hall of Fame.
But it's not bloody Nicki Minaj.
No, it's not going to be Nicki Minaj or
any of that stuff.
Probably not Mariah Carey, even though she was
none
one of
of
the
that
nominees in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. So that's our plan. So I'm assuming that you have got one of those. You might even have the 4 big artists as we've discussed them before. That maybe, but you know, you obviously know which one I'm going to be picking,
and you know which one I'm going to be picking. So it's just who Geoff chooses.
It's Geoff. So that we're talking, presumably, the Beatles. We're talking Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
We're talking Pink Floyd, and we're talking the Rolling Stones. Having said that, obviously I'm going the Beatles, and I'm assuming you're going Led Zeppelin.
I am.
But that doesn't mean to say that Jazzy Geoff needs to go for either Pink Floyd.
Well, given what we know Jazzy Geoff thinks about the Rolling Stones, then or Pink Floyd, he's not going to go for either of them, is he?
So I wonder there's
Led Zeppelin when it comes to that.
Well, that's true. He's not that great fan of Led Zeppelin either. So I think that, well, the Beatles, I think it will be apt, especially for me anyway, that the Beatles will be number one. We'll give them all numbers. Number one in the Hall of Fame will be the Beatles for obvious reasons. Yeah, I can't think of any other band that has had more influences on other artists in rock and pop history, at least, I would say. Not even Led Zeppelin, dare I say. So you want Led Zeppelin in? Have you got anyone in mind, Geoff, that you think, yeah, I want to give a free pass?
I think we can't do this without Elvis Presley being in it.
Well, that's fair enough. Fair shout.
Yeah, fair shout.
I think without Elvis, there is no awful lot of things.
Maybe not even any Beatles.
Well, indeed.
So Elvis Presley. So Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Elvis Presley. And I would probably, I suppose Led Zeppelin. Well, how long was their career, actually? I know they had lots of reunions and stuff. Oh, but what, they in 69 was it they started?
Late 68 they started touring. So 68 to 79, and then,
so a bit longer than the Beatles. Bit longer than the Beatles, but not as many records, I would guess. And Elvis obviously was around until he popped his clogs. It
is difficult cutting new material after that, isn't it?
It is. It's often, it's often a good career move.
Death. He can shoot you to the top of the hip parade, without a doubt.
I think he must have. I don't know whether Michael Jackson's taken over from that actually, but he must have sold more. The most sold records by someone that's dead must be Elvis, I would have thought.
Well, I can't point on that, but I may have someone who sold more when we get through this later.
Okay, all right. Anyway, onwards and upwards. So we've got 3 inductees already, and we've got the Beatles, we've got Led Zeppelin, and Elvis Presley. So the rest of us, the rest of the show, we're going to be talking about We suggested A to E, the letters A to E. So surnames would be what you're going by as well, which is a real pain, I have to admit. A real pain. I mean, because everything is listed. Like my library, iTunes library, it's all by the first name.
Yeah.
And so with band names, yeah, that's fine. But by artist names, it's individual artists, solo artists. I've got to look through like 100 gigabytes of material to find a surname that I think, yeah, all
Can
right.
I make a suggestion for later on in this?
Yes.
I think we should pretend that Led Zeppelin actually starts with a Z, because we're not going to get anything under Z otherwise. Because like
You'd be surprised.
Warren
you'd be
Zevon's
surprised.
just not going to cut it against Led Zeppelin, is he?
Who?
Warren Zevon.
Oh, right, yeah, Warren Zevon.
No,
Yeah,
Zevon,
Warren
sorry.
Yeah, him. Yeah. And I'm sure there are others. There must be ZZ
There
Top.
are others. ZZ Top.
There'll be some, yeah.
Okay. All right, fair enough then.
Or as we call them, ZZ Top.
Yes.
Toppy. Good.
Not quite the same. Not
Right,
quite the same.
so A through E then.
A through E. Okay, we'll go. Shall we start at A? Seems like an
That's a good idea.
appropriate place to start. And what have we got from either of you? Who wants to start?
You go first, Jazz.
No, for heaven's sakes. Okay.
Pressure's on.
Well, I kind of was rather hoping Colin was going to start this, because I'm pretty certain that Colin's going to pick the one that I would have picked if Colin hadn't have picked it. So I'm going.
Well, do you want me to start then? Do you want me to start?
That's all right, go on. I'm going to assume that Colin's picked the one that I think he's going to pick.
But
and
A?
therefore, I'm going to do, yeah. And then I said, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with Mr. Louis Armstrong.
No, okay. I didn't go for Louis Armstrong.
So, a 5-decade career. Born in 1901, died in 1971. His career obviously wasn't the whole of that time. Jazz and blues trumpeter and vocalist. Earned his reputation in what was called cutting contests. I don't know if you know about these. This is where, normally it's where two singers fight with each other or two pianists fight with each other. But Louis Armstrong used to, musically, not physically, because that would be amusing, wouldn't it? Billy Joel and Elton John giving it some of that. Oh, I say. Sorry, that was a very poor Elton John impersonation. So they fight musically, and Louis Armstrong used to fight with other instrumentalists, which was very unusual. Other band members. And his vocal prowess was earned doing scat singing, and his playing history amounts to pages and pages and pages on the interweb, most of which I didn't get a chance to read. Yep. Suffice to say, the greatest trumpeter that there's ever been, probably because of the way that he phrased his playing and later on his singing, which was not straight on the beat. It was slightly off. If you listen to him singing, you listen to him playing, it's not always on the rhythm. 1 Grammy for a male vocal performance. Hey Dolly, in case you care. 12 Grammys. Hall of Fame, generally. Hall of Fame entry. West End Blues is listed in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 500 that shaped rock and roll. 50 discs to his name, plus all those he played on with others. Couple of things to say. Bing Crosby, who was apparently, quotes, the most successful vocalist in the first half of the 20th century, unquotes, said, he is the beginning and end of music in America. And Duke Ellington said, if anybody was a master, it was Louis Armstrong. He was and will continue to be the embodiment of jazz. But it's this next bit which I think is brilliant, because it's, you were saying earlier, death is so good for your career, but it's also so good for actually people recognising where you stand in life. The honorary pallbearers at his funeral, are you ready for this?
I am.
Were Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington, Dizzy Gillespie, Pearl Bailey, Count Basie, Harry James, Frank Sinatra, Ed Sullivan, Earl Wilson, Benny Goodman, Alan King, Johnny Carson, and David Frost. Peggy Ling sang The Lord's Prayer, and Al Hibbler sang Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. I would nominate Mr. Louis Armstrong, if that's okay.
Well, you can. Is it Lewis or is it Louis?
No, it's
this
Louis.
is the question.
It's.
Well, is it? I don't know,
either.
because he calls himself Lewis, doesn't he?
Yeah, his real name
Hello
was
Dolly, in fact.
Can't remember what his real name is, but he was always known as Louis Armstrong. Yeah,
he was known as Louis. Okay. Hello Dolly. This is Lewis. He does sing. He does sing Lewis on the song.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
So I don't know what that's all about, but that is the Satchmo. It's all about this other Hall of Fame nonsense that you're talking about. What is really would be interesting, if he's looking down on us now, is this being a nominee for the Off the Record Hall of Fame.
He is thus the first nominee that there is.
He is the first nominee because we've had 3 inductees that went straight in.
Absolutely.
So Louis Armstrong. Do you have any particular favourite tunes?
No.
They're all good. I can't imagine any that he's done that are bad. He's one of those, isn't he?
I have a favourite album. My favourite album is him and Ella Fitzgerald playing and singing together. It's the first one. They've done 2. The first one, which is just a great jazz album. It's the Ella Fitzgerald. We'll get to her when we get to F. She has the best jazz voice that there has ever been, and the 2 voices just play off each other. And he sticks in there with his sax, with his trumpet as well. And yeah, so that's my favourite album. No, I don't have a favourite.
You don't have a favourite track? No, I mean, I love What a Wonderful World. I do love What a Wonderful World. One of his last songs, I guess, wasn't it? What a Wonderful World.
Yeah. And that's the one that everybody, the population will know him by.
Yeah.
And fair enough. Actually, that just goes to say something. If you play Wonderful World, whenever next time you play it, try and sing the "Oh Yeah" at the end in time. And I bet you come in early.
He's got me wobbly, isn't he? He's got a wobbly voice there. Is that because he's getting old, or that's his style?
But naturally, you'll come in a beat before he does.
What, before you say the "yeah" bit?
Yeah.
Or the... Oh, right, okay. Next time I play it, and I do play it because I do love it.
Yeah.
I shall look out for that. All right, thank you very much, Geoff. Louis Armstrong. He's nominated. All right, so
you better go next, Cole, because now we need to know who it was that Geoff thought you were going to choose.
Well, I assume he thinks I was going to go for ABBA.
Of course.
And I have.
And thus I expected.
I have gone for ABBA.
And rightly so.
Think's probably sneering at the moment. I just think
viewers, do I look like I'm sneering?
I can't tell. I don't know whether you need to go to the toilet or something.
It's the same face.
No, he is. I jest.
I'm very zen. I'm just listening to the wisdom of my brother and my friend, Mr. Wright.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling me your friend. ABBA. Okay. Surely they had to be a nominee, at least, for the Hall of Fame as one of the most renowned and commercially successful musical combos in history. I mean, over 150 million records sold worldwide, 3rd best-selling artist in the UK. Obviously, they won the Eurovision Song Contest in 1974. After their first 3 albums, which didn't do massively well after Waterloo, 6 consecutive #1 albums, Arrival, and the album Voulez-Vous, Super Trooper, The Visitors, and that includes even the last one, which came out 2 or 3 years ago, for The Voyage. Which, have you seen that, Geoff? You seen Voyage?
No, I'd like to go and see it, but I haven't. No.
Yeah, it's still on, isn't it? I recommend it. I recommend Stinks go and see it. Actually, I'm sure you'd enjoy it. Having a good sing along. Yeah, that was #1 in the US.
I just say that I cannot think of anything I'd like to do less.
I can. I think you'd like to go and see a double bill of Queen and the Sex Pistols.
Okay, yes. Yeah, it's a fair point.
No, you're going to make me laugh again, and I'll have to mute me mic.
company.
Okay, 27 top 30 singles in the UK, 9 of the number ones. In the US, even 13 top 30 singles over there. Just the one number one, which was Dancing Queen. And a sort of instantly recognizable logo. I suppose it has the name ABBA in it, which does help. But it's got the B reversed, doesn't it? An ambiglam, is it, or something like that, where you have one of the letters turned around. I don't know.
No idea.
They've even had 4 number one albums,
Peter knows this sort of thing.
4 best of greatest hits. I bet he hasn't got any of those, have you, Pete? Greatest hits in 75, greatest hits 2 in 79, singles first 10 years in 82, and ABBA Gold in 99. It's not only the plethora of number one singles and hit singles they had, but a number of other great pop tunes that are written by the band, by Benny and Bjorn principally, that weren't even hits. Like Honey Honey, which was a hit for Sweet Dreams in 74, got to number 10. Banger Boomerang, So Long, really rocky song. And then Arrival's got When I Kiss the Teacher on. Some instrumentals. And I know that you're neither of you that keen on Thank You for the Music. I love Thank You for the Music anyway. So I'll say that. And I don't think I need to say any more. So I'm nominating ABBA for being one of the most brilliant pop artists around. A similar length career to the Beatles, probably, I would say. 74 through to about 81. Not that different.
No.
Okay, so Stinks, how can you possibly cap and beat ABBA?
I'm not going to try because it would be pointless. I eschew pop albums as I would eschew a rabid dog. So I haven't chosen any pop, and I will not choose any pop for the entirety of this process. I'm going to stick with what I love and what I know, which is rock and blues and jazz. So, and maybe a bit of soul. And I've also decided that when you look at all these award things and all the rest of the nonsense, it's always so predictable and so boring, and it's going to be them, and what's the point? Just by the by, Planet Rock have just decided to do the 500 greatest rock songs of all time by popular vote. This is a waste of time because I know what the top 5 are going to be even before they announce the vote, because it always is. So I've tried to go with bands that I don't think get the recognition that they should get, but are genre defining. So in most of the cases, you said choose 10 in case we overlap. Yep. I have chosen 10, but I'll hold the others back for another time. So my 5, I've tried to go with ones which I think that they have a very important place in music history, and in most cases don't get the credit that they should get.
Can I guess what it is then? It's a matter of interest.
If you want.
But A's, I'm talking almonds?
Yeah, yes. That's what I would guess.
You guessed right.
Yeah.
So,
okay. The Allman Brothers Band.
Allman Brothers Band, the founders of Southern rock, an entire genre founded by them. Formed in Jacksonville in 1969, strangely, the same place that the Skinners were formed in. The kings of the extended jam. So Duane, Greg, Dickie, Berry, Butch and J-Mo. Blues, jazz, country. But their big emphasis is on live performance, not albums. In fact, there's a great quote that I found from Duane Allman where he said, we kind of get frustrated doing studio albums. So the vast majority of their output is live stuff. They did 18 albums between 1969 and 2004. But when I looked at the list, there were 4 live albums that I've got that weren't on the list. So you kind of did a few. Yeah, I mean they've loads of live stuff. Now, obviously, the famous one is Live at the Fillmore, but then Live at Ludlow Garage, which is a brilliant album. They've got some stuff at the Beacon Theatre more recently. That's with kind of like the Mark II or III lineup, because I think Derek Trucks took over on guitar, and Susan Tedeschi played with them, I think, I can't remember whether she was in the band or not. Basically, there's only Jimo is left from the original lineup, I think, now, or was. And I just think that if you're talking about bands which have their place in history because they created something that wasn't there before, and bearing in mind when they came, when they started in '69, then not an awful lot was there before. And if you look at all the bands that have followed on from them, all that whole southern rock scene, I think you can argue a strong case to say that they were the founders of it. And on that basis, I think they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame as genre-defining act.
Okay. Allman Brothers Band, fair enough. And I'll just take you back though. You were saying about I can't believe there's no pop album that you've got that you wouldn't band
I have
even.
got
Surely.
I have got loads of pop albums. I would not choose any of them.
Any of the artists at all?
To put in a Hall of Fame. Not one.
Okay.
But I don't like pop music. Pop music is
that doesn't
bubblegum.
matter.
It matters to me. It goes in one ear and out the other. So why would I put in a Hall of Fame or a music hall something which is pap? I wouldn't. I love January by Pilot. I'm not going to put Pilot in the Hall of Fame. It's a great song. Big deal. It's done, finished, over. It has to me, any of that music has no value. It has value at its moment in time, at its point in history, and everybody likes to dance to it. Great, knock yourself out. No way is it going in any of my choices because it's not relevant to me.
Okay, I'm glad the grumpy stinks has gone. You said earlier on, and I said he'll be back.
I'm not being grumpy. I'm just.
Well, you are a bit.
No, I'm not being grumpy. I am making a valid point about what is important to me as music, and I don't think pop is important and valid to me. It doesn't mean I don't like pop songs. I'm quite happy singing along to pop songs. When I was growing up, I listened to pop music on the radio, and it was all lovely, fine, and good. I don't listen to any of it now out of choice. None.
How can you write off people who, like ABBA, as an example, who have sold millions and millions of records?
It doesn't matter. I'm quite happy if you like ABBA for them to go into the Off the Record Music Hall of Fame. That's fine. Knock yourself out, put them in there. Lots of people like them. I can't stand them. And there's 2 or 3 songs which I can just about tolerate. I just don't like that kind of music. And this it's a pointless it's a pointless discussion because you've got 2 sides that it's like arguing for, is there a God or isn't there a God? Yeah, there is no.
That's not an argument.
The 2 sides are never going to see eye to eye on that. So then it's the same. There's no way I would choose any pop artist over rock, blues, and jazz. I just wouldn't.
I suppose it depends also on your definition of what pop music is. I mean, you might find some that you don't necessarily call pop music.
Well, but the Beatles are a classic example, because for me, all of the early Beatles stuff is all pop. But I would, of course, include the Beatles because they became a rock band later, and a lot of their stuff bears the test of time. So I think they've changed and matured. Personally,
that's like calling the Beatles early stuff boy band stuff, isn't it? It's just I think they were a rock and roll band, really.
All right,
they've never been a rock band, not ever.
Well, I disagree.
Anyway.
Anyway, they're in. They're in. We've got them in.
They're in.
It's locked in. They're locked in. They're definitely in. All right. Well, we'll no doubt come back to that at some point. Stinky's aversion to any kind of pop music.
I didn't say I was averse to pop music. I said I would quite happily listen to it. If I pilot by January, I picked deliberately. January, whatever it was called, I would sing. I would happily sing along to that. I would happily listen to it when I was growing up. It was good as a son of my father, Chicory Tip, all that stuff. All well and good. It's part of my history. Would I choose to listen to it now instead of Jimi Hendrix? Not in a million years.
Okay, well, this will be fun. I think I probably would listen to Pilot ahead of Jimi Hendrix overall, but I don't know that many Pilot songs actually, which is maybe the point. They're not that famous, and the Hall of Fame. Yeah. The Hall of Fame. Now, maybe I'm being a bit hypocritical here because, I hate hip hop / rap music. I just don't get that at all. So, and I wouldn't have any of those in there. But I see that as quite different ball game.
Whereas I would.
Pop music per se.
I'd have Lauryn Hill in there tomorrow.
Okay. So let's get on. Let's have another A. Have another A. No, we'll go B. We'll go B. Yeah, B.
Right, do I get to go first again?
Yes. Yeah, why not?
Oh, I'm liking this. Because I assume that you would take the Beatles, because I prepped this before we decided.
Yeah.
I have gone for Mr. Chuck Berry.
Okay.
Because deemed the rock and roll's prime innovator, nicknamed the father of rock and roll, in case you care, born in St. Louis, which is a real dump, in 1926, died aged 90 in 2017. What are you laughing at?
Missourians have been offended now.
Can we just be clear here? There are two sides to St. Louis. There's East St. Louis and West St. Louis.
Okay.
East St. Louis is a toilet. West St. Louis less such.
Okay. All right. I believe you. I was in St. Louis a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You were not a fan.
Right. Career that spanned 5 decades again. Massive hits, Johnny Be Good, Roll Over, Beethoven, Maybelline, rock and roll music, blah, 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 blah. In case anyone cares, took his playing style from blues and band leader T-Bone Walker, and basically electrified. That's not electrified, thank you.
Yeah, all right.
And took the riff that T-Bone Walker had and made it that riff that we all know as Chuck Berry's riff.
Yeah.
It was actually Muddy Waters who pushed him into recording with Chess Records after he got to Chicago to play. And he was as famous at the time for his duck walk as he was for his musical ability. What else can I say about him? He was also very famous for not telling his band what they were going to play. And there's one very famous occasion where he had Bruce Springsteen and someone else, can't remember who it was now, in the band. They were just coming through as musicians. And Springsteen said afterwards, we never knew. Like, he just said, it's Chuck and G. And off they would go, and they were expected to play it. Which is why Springsteen, for one of his concerts, just for a laugh, because I heard this in a Niels Lofgren interview, said, "We're playing. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to play. We'll just have to play it." Anyway, he served 3 stints in jail, in case you want to know.
Yep.
1 for armed robbery, 1 for white slavery. That's an exciting one. And 1 for tax evasion. That's the least shocking. He was one of the first people entered into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He played for Jimmy Carter at the White House. And when he died, his estate was worth $50 million. And he's got 20 albums to his name.
What did he play with Jimmy Carter in the White House, do you think? Cluedo or something like that, maybe?
I reckon he played the Jew's harp.
You think so? Okay.
I love the idea of Chuck Berry sitting in the Oval Office going... with his duck walk.
Yeah, well, definitely.
I'm trying to work out whether when he was sent to prison for white slavery, whether that had something to do with tax evasion, because for me, tax is about white slavery, isn't it?
I think it's something called the
Man Act or something, wasn't it?
The Man Act, yeah.
Contravened the Man
so
Act.
basically, he skipped the border with a 14-year-old girl who he was going to set up in a job, but allegedly might have been involved with other things. And because he skipped the border, it was deemed to be taking. It was deemed to be under the Man, whatever it's called.
Man Act, yeah, contravening the Man Act or something, yeah. Well, you'll be not surprised to know that given the fact that the Beatles were my first number down for the Bs, Chuck Berry was my next one. So we've both gone for Chuck Berry. This could be quite easy when it comes to entry. I mean, you've obviously read the similar sorts of stuff that I've got. There were some things I did read. One I would say is actually I do prefer the original Marty McFly and his Johnny Be Good.
Well, it's a fair point.
I mean, Chuck Berry just, copied it all off.
He's a rip-off artist, really, wasn't he?
Gone over Pete's head because he never watched Back to the Future.
I have seen the clip of him playing that because there was something, it might have been on YouTube, where it was Chuck Berry, him, and Hendrix. It was the three versions of.
Oh, right, okay. So well, the one thing I've read, Chuck Berry contributed three things to music. One was an irresistible swagger. Two was a focus on the guitar riff as the primary melodic element.
Ooh.
And three, an emphasis on songwriting as storytelling. And he was a great lyricist. Maybe only one or two actual melodies or songs and three riffs, maybe. But I mean, everyone sang a Chuck Berry song. I mean, who doesn't sing a Chuck Berry song in an encore? You probably have as well, haven't you, Geoff?
It was our final. It was the way we used to go around the band playing solos. I sang it. We did Johnny Be Good as the encore. Yeah,
Johnny Be Good. All right. Ted Nugent said, if you don't know every Chuck Berry lick, you can't play rock guitar. Bob Dylan has said that Chuck Berry was the Shakespeare of rock and roll.
Yes, I read
Bruce
that.
Springsteen has said Chuck Berry was rock's greatest practitioner, guitarist, and the greatest pure rock and roll writer who ever lived. He had 6 songs in the Rolling Stones 500 Greatest Songs. Johnny Be Good, Maybelline, Roll Over Beethoven, Rock and Roll Music, Sweet Little 16, Brown-Eyed Ensign Man. But it's not only the rock and roll he did a lot of bluesy, real slow, bluesy, jazzy things like
there's a
Deep
great
Feeling,
little
Havana Moon,
thing
things
of
like
him and Keith Richards and playing together.
Well, they're arguing.
They're arguing a whole bunch of stuff. But actually, when they do play, it's like this really like downbeat sort of blues stuff, which is brilliant.
All right, okay. Well, can I throw a quick curveball in? I won't spend too long because I did change because I originally had the Beatles. I thought, no, I want them to go in straight away. So what shall I have? And then I chose this other artist, and I thought, no, it's got to be Chuck Berry. Got to be Chuck Berry because the length of his and I've gone for a bit of a curveball here.
The length of his ding-a-ling.
The length of his ding-a-ling.
I was waiting for you to say that. I've got everything crossed, hoping that wouldn't.
Such a child, isn't he, Pete?
You just went there.
I got accused of being a child at choir practice last week.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh, don't we better not go there. Blimey. Well, this is I'll tell you what I've gone for. I'm going to come straight out with it. I've gone for, surprisingly, as a possible nominee, Badfinger.
Okay.
Just thought I'd just sing a bit of Badfinger. Anyway, go on. Why did
Well,
you go
well, they started in '61. It's a Welsh band, also called the Ivies. It had Pete Ham, Tom Evans, Mike Gibbons, and Joey Molland as the main band members. They were actually named the band after a working title of a Beatles song from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Now, that's not the only reason I've gone for it. With a little help from my friends, which the working title was Badfinger Boogie, as if you didn't know. And as Geoff would say, if you care, as if we care. We do care. We do care. They didn't have that many albums. They had 5 albums between, well, 5 albums for Apple. 4 consecutive worldwide hits between 70 and 72. Come and Get It, which was written by and produced by Paul McCartney. No Matter What, which was produced by Mal Evans in 1970, was another big hit. That was Mal Evans was the Beatles' roadie, actually. Day After Day, produced by George Harrison in 71, and then Baby Blue in 72, produced by Todd Rundgren. And of course, Without You, their top song, was recorded many times. Number 1 for Harry Nilsson in 71 or 72, depending on which side of the Atlantic you live on. Absolute classic power ballad, as we all established recently. Someone else did a version of it, which we mentioned because we don't want her in the Hall of Fame, for our Hall of Fame anyway. Ham and Evans were both, they received the Ivor Novello Award for the best song, music and lyrically, by the Songwriters Guild of Great Britain. They had a lot of financial problems in the end after Apple collapsed and sadly, leading to Pete Ham's suicide in 75. They tried to rebuild the band together personally and professionally, but in the end, a sad tale of Badfinger. Tom Evans committed suicide in 1983. But I think they were a massive influence on the power pop guitar bands that came soon afterwards, soon after 71, 72. So I'm including them as whether they'll get inducted. I've gone for Badfinger. If they don't get inducted, then I can always come back to them on another day. Pete, over to you.
Well, I think we need to have a think about this whole inducting thing, because the way they do it with the actual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is ludicrous, because they chuck like 100 people at it and then index whatever. I think we need to be a little bit more subtle about it.
I think we should throw 3 people at it.
I think basically if we have, if we've thought this through, then I think we'll have a list by the end, and I think we just say, right, these all go in, or unless there's a good reason not to. Anyway, that's my feelings on the subject. Right, my B album is again one which for me is genre defining. Very, very small musical output. Formed in 1965 in San Francisco out of the psych scene, and it is Big Brother and the Holding Company. And I'm including them because they were in that stable with Grateful Dead, Quicksilver, Messenger Service and Jefferson Airplane, but they broke the great Janis Joplin, who for me is the greatest blues female singer of them all. And other people are prepared to, please feel free to argue with me, but you're wrong. Beth Hart is there or thereabouts, but I think I played everything I own by Big Brother. I played over the weekend, and it's not that sense of that real sense of being alive and of being really relevant in the era is very much there. Obviously, Cheap Thrills is their big one. That was released in 1968. Got to number 1 in the US. The first album, which was Big Brother and the Holding Company, was not as successful. Janis Joplin joined in time for Cheap Thrills. I've got a brilliant album of theirs called Live at the Carousel Ballroom, and it's a really interesting historical piece because it's recorded by Bear Ownsley Stanley, who was the Grateful Dead sound guy, and he was renowned for being a real stickler for how the music sounded live. And so this album that I've got is recorded in mono, but he has but the way he records it, when you listen to it on stereo speakers, he's got the voice, so Joplin's voice and the drums coming out of the left speaker and he's got everything else coming out of the right speaker. But to make it sound right, you have to put the speakers next to each other. So it's basically the sound in a block. And it's a really interesting way of listening to music, and it makes you feel like you're actually in the middle of it. So the way that the whole thing is mixed and recorded is fascinating. They're still playing. Pete Albin, the original bassist, is still in the band. Dave Getz, who was the drummer, and then obviously other people who are not the ones who are dead, because Sam Andrew, the guitarist, James Gurley, the other guitarist, obviously Janis Joplin and Nick Gravenites are all no longer with us. But I think that if we are talking about a band which has a reputation in the genre and a reputation for being era defining, then I think them and Jefferson Airplane sit together. But I think on balance, I would pick Big Brother just because they're so raw. They're kind of they are a jam band, like the Dead were, but I think tighter. And Janis Joplin is just wonderful. So they are my nomination: Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Okay. So how many albums did they do? Just the 2, was it, or?
No, it was 6 in total. 4 2 live albums, and then 2 which were recorded much later. So 4 plus 2, basically.
So Cheap Thrills, is that their second? Then the first was what, self-titled?
Second. The first one was self-titled. There was another one, I can't remember the name, and then there's Live at the Carousel.
Is Cheap Thrills the one you lent me?
Yeah, probably, yes.
With Janis Joplin on it?
Yes. Yeah, it's her first. It was her first album with the band. It was interesting because the Beacon Theatre was where this the Carousel Ballroom, which was where this live album was done. It was one of the very last things to be recorded there before Bill Graham bought it and turned it into the Fillmore West. And that was the point at which capitalism took over from music, because if you listen to this live album, basically the band just pitches up and they're kind of wandering around on stage, and then you hear the announcement of, next week we've got the Who here from England, and it's kind of was a place where people just used to get together to play music, and it feels really real, and very much of its time, which I loved.
Interestingly, none of us went for Bowie.
No, but there'll be other times, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't. Yeah, I mean,
there's hundreds. Yeah, it's interesting.
When we've got nothing better to talk about, we can talk about this.
We'll go into
round and round in circles. Yeah.
Right, so we're on to C already. Okay, so Geoff, what you got for C's?
Well, I think I'm about to prove my brother wrong. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I suspect that this pop band he would choose.
It's Chicory Tip, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's a duo, middle of the road country pop. It's the Carpenters. And I don't think people will argue that they're a pop band, because they are a pop band. Were a pop band. Anyway, active for 14 years. Karen Carpenter's 4 years younger than Dickie. The first 2 hits, which were Close to You and We've Only Just Begun, were in the 60s. All the rest was in the 70s. They have sold over 100 million records worldwide, which puts them in the top echelons of worldwide sales. I didn't know this, but Karen Carpenter's was found by a guy called Joe Osborne, do you know, who was part of the Wrecking Crew and was also part of the Nashville A-Team. He was a bass player, and he was on stage in LA, and she came and sang with him, and he went, yeah, okay, we need to do this, and installed Richard as the keyboard player, and installed her doing vocals and 1 or 2 other guys, and said, okay, let's make this work. This is really interesting. Okay, just do the maths here. Between 71 and 75, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they played 814 live shows.
Quo did that in a year,
Now,
I think.
Unless I'm wrong, that's 2 a week.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Give or take.
Yeah.
They made 23 TV appearances in the same time as well. Anyway, they won 3 Grammys. They are ranked, Rolling Stone, don't know what they're talking about. They are only ranked 10th in Rolling Stone's duos of all time. Macca, my lord,
Yes.
said Karen Carpenter, the best female voice in the world. And I don't think you get much.
Macca knows. Macca knows.
Macca knows.
Well,
10 albums.
At the
It's
time,
either that-
albums.
So it's
5
either that or Nicki Minaj, wasn't it? It's either that or Nicki Minaj.
Could have been Nicki.
No, I think it'll be interesting to know when that McCartney quote was, because I suspect that what he means is that at the time that she was singing, she was the best. And
I think it was at her death. I think it was at her death.
100% agree with that. Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was at the time of her death. I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. 10 albums, 5 posthumous albums. There you go. The Carpenters. We all love them. I know we all love them.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I think they're a pop band, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call them a pop band, but fine. But yes, I love them too.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're a pop band. But that's why as you said before, I don't understand. It's the definition of what popular music is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
it is popular music.
And so I wouldn't call them a pop band. Do they write short, popular songs? Yes. Are they bubblegum pop? No.
Bubblegum pop is something maybe slightly different to. I mean, it's just like a one chunk of the genre. I would have said pop, is it? Bubblegum pop. You might have pop rock. Pop rock, would that be all right?
Yeah, if it's got rock in the title.
It's got rock in the title, it's all right.
They're denoted as middle of the road pop rock, is what they're denoted as.
Yeah, well, you see, I would argue that if you take the guitar solos in Calling Occupants and Goodbye to Love, they ain't pop guitar solos. That is pop rock. Middle of the road pop rock. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, whatever. Yes, Carpenters. Absolutely.
Carpenters for Jazzy Geoff. All right. Well, I'm going straight in with the Clash.
I had the Clash down for you, so that's good.
They, formed in '76, and one of the most influential acts, I should say, of that original wave of UK punk rock, as it's called, of course. But they, and I don't, I hate this word, but maybe it's appropriate in this instance, fusing a bit of elements of reggae and ska and funk and rockabilly and maybe a bit of dub as well, which is bits of the Clash probably I'm not so keen on, to be honest. But they had a big influence on the post-punk or the new wave movements that followed. The main 4, of course, participants in the band: Joe Strummer, Mick Jones, Paul Simonon, and Topper Headon on drums. Although he wasn't on the first album, he was probably in jail, allegedly. And Terry Chimes played, I think, on the first album, but he'd already quit the band by the time it was released, and so he didn't get his picture on the cover of the album. Some singles on there, and not just the singles. White Riot, which is their first single, which made the top 40. Remote Control was also released as a single, much to the Clash's umbrance. They didn't want it released as a single. And they sang Complete Control about that very subject, actually, which was a standalone single afterwards. Classic punk genre songs on the album, like I'm So Bored with the USA, London's Burning, Janie Jones, is about a brothel keeper, I believe. Career Opportunities, which was sort of typical Joe Strummer lyrics about the lack of jobs available to young folk, and what there is available wasn't very appealing. Garage Land, because they were a garage band after all. which was the last song they wrote for their debut album, which, as I've said before, actually was in response to a review that someone wrote saying they're a garage band and need to be returned to the garage immediately, preferably with the engine still running, which I thought was a tad harsh.
Very harsh.
A cover of Police and Thieves, the Junior Mervyn reggae tune on there as well. Hate and War, Protex Blue as a 70s brand of condom. Some standalone singles, classic, before the second album, Give 'Em Enough Rope, was released. Complete Control, mentioned. Clash City Rockers, White Man in Hammersmith Palais, all classic punk singles, top 40 singles. And Give 'Em Enough Rope was a #2 album. On the back of a couple of hit singles as well, Tommy Gun and English Civil War. And then the Cost of Living EP, also with I Fought the Law, which a lot of people thought was their song, I think, actually, when it came out. But it was actually a Sonny Curtis song from the Crickets. Then Bobby Fuller 4 took it into the charts as well. And then, of course, their Zenith, or if you're listening or watching in the States, their Zenith, London Calling, double album, which came out, which covers all of the different genres. And the following 3 albums, not quite up there for me. Sandinista, the triple album, too much dubbing and reggaeing on that, I think, for my liking. Combat Rock, which did actually have Should I Stay or Should I Go on it, which ended up being a #1 single for the band after it was on a Levi ad 10 years after it originally came out. And Cut the Crap was their last album, which unfortunately they failed to do because it wasn't that great, apart from the track This Is England, I think it was. But yeah, you would maybe arguably say that the reggae sound of the Clash inspired the sort of two-tone movement that came soon afterwards, and the ska sound of their whatever. The Edge from U2 said that the Clash kick-started 1,000 garage bands in the UK. So there's that term again, garage band. So I thought the Clash should be in there as one of the, along with Nevermind the Bollocks, their debut album was one of the seminal punk albums, the Clash. So they had to be in for me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Pete?
They'd be the only punk band on my list, so I can't argue with that one. Right, I've got 2 obvious ones for the C's. I'm going to go with the one of them. The first band to produce the very first platinum selling double album is by this band, and they are in both the Rolling Stone and VH1 list of 100 greatest artists of all time. They are the very first supergroup, Cream, London, 1966. Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker, Eric Clapton. Just 4 albums: Fresh Cream in 66, Disraeli Gears in 67, Wheels of Fire, which is the double platinum album, in 68, and Goodbye in 69. They sold 15 million records worldwide, which is pretty good given that their career was only 3 years. And, what can you say about Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker and Eric Clapton, 3 of the finest exponents of their instruments that there has ever been? And I would posit that they are worthy of their place in our Music Hall of Fame.
The drummer of which, of course, was a complete madman.
All drummers are madmen. It's a question of how mad.
That's true. And the other one, the guitarist was a bit of a knob.
A bit of a knob and a fascist, but apart from that, not a bad guitarist.
And actually could have been a standalone for the letter C.
He could.
Well, it could have been, and of course Jack Bruce could have been a standalone for the letter B. Because actually, when you look at a lot of the bands that are inducted into the Hall of Fame. A lot of them go in as individuals as well as the bands they were in. So
if they've had a decent career and released a lot of stuff, then yeah.
I didn't realise that Jack Bruce had written as much of the material as he did, but apparently he was the major
for Cream.
Yeah, for Cream. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Anyway, so I thought that was one of my two obvious choices. So Cream.
Just save your other one up for another day, for a rainy day. So we're on to D now. I got a feeling that I might know what you're going to pick, but choose it anyway.
Well, go on,
and then I'll say no.
Tell me,
because
go on.
It might give me one to do myself because I've got some written down here.
Okay, all right. I'll give you a clue.
It's an individual. It's an individual, a solo with a band.
No, it's a band.
Oh, okay. That's not the one I was thinking you were going to have then.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I wonder if I've forgotten somebody. Okay, I'll give you a quick clue. They are named after Aldous Huxley's book, which in itself is a quote from William Blake. Any ideas?
Stinks will get it.
Huxley. Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World.
He did, but not that one.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so the Aldous Huxley's book is called The Doors of Perception.
The Doors. Yeah, I thought you were going to choose then.
The Doors.
Yeah.
Released 6 studio albums in 5 years, which is not bad going. 9 in total, 3 of them after Jim Morrison's death. Became titled as the Kings of Acid Rock. Wonder why that would be. But I think that's a bit unfair, to be perfectly honest, because generally speaking, they're a straight down the line blues band. A bit of blues pop, chucked in for good measure, but ostensibly they're a blues band. Again, they've sold over 100 million records worldwide, which, like the Carpenters, puts them right at the very top of the world sales. Personally, I think the first album, The Doors and LA Woman, are their best albums. Strange Hotel is very well received in the critic world. Pete, you would like it. There's an 11-minute last track on it.
I'm in.
You're in the keyboard part of which is inspired by Herbie Hancock's Watermelon Man. If you know that at all,
I do.
It can drive you nuts. It's
absolutely
persistent, very hypnotic. I had LA Woman as one of my Desert Island albums, and also one of my own albums, basically because it's superb. Manzarek, Krieger, Morrison, all geniuses, weird geniuses, and whoever Densmore was the drummer. I'm sure he was very good, but I don't know much about him. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 3 Grammys. They're in the Library of Congress National Recording Register, which is a new thing apparently. Rolling Stone. Is that what we do now?
Yeah.
Rolling Stone. 41st in the 100 greatest of all times, and 20th in VH1s. I'll give you The Doors. I'll show you The Doors.
I knew you'd choose The Doors, which is why I swerved The Doors. But I thought.
And when you said Strange Hotel, I presume you mean like there's a nice cross between Strange Days and Morrison Hotel.
Strange Hotel. It's called Strange Hotel, isn't it?
No, Strange Days.
Strange Days.
Yeah, and then there was a latter one.
I've obviously typed that out. I've obviously typed that out wrong. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's Morrison's Hotel. You're absolutely right.
I feel a bit left out here because I've never really been into The Doors. It's one of those strange things. I don't know. Maybe I should listen to them more. I say that about so many.
In fairness, I like The Doors, but I don't love The Doors. I've obviously got The Doors' greatest hits. Wouldn't I?
You got The Doors live as well?
No, I haven't.
There was a Doors live, actually, wasn't
there? No, Jim Morrison.
I do really like some of their stuff, and then other stuff I go, it's okay. So I'd far rather listen to The Doors than ABBA or anything else like that. But They're not up at the pinnacle of
Like that. You mean the Doors? You're comparing Doors with ABBA there?
I'm
Were
not
you
comparing the
momentarily?
Doors with ABBA. I'm saying if I had to choose between listening
Like
to the Doors
that,
or ABBA,
like the Doors or
I'd
ABBA.
choose the Doors.
I reckon that if I listen to some Doors songs, the ones that you like more are the ones that I like less. And
Yes, absolutely. But that's the
vice
same with everything.
and
That's the
vice
same with
versa.
Dire Straits. It's literally
It is.
every band.
It's weird, isn't
we
it?
would choose the opposite songs.
But maybe it's because I like the more popular, which is maybe a definition of pop music. It's actually quite popular. Lots of people like it. Whereas, I mean, I'm thinking People Are Strange or Light My Fire rather than Riders on the Storm, which I know you both love, but
which I love, or The
incredibly
End,
dreary.
which I really love.
Which one?
The End.
Oh, The End. Oh my word, that goes on for ages, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about, Geoff?
I think it might be.
Yeah, I love it.
I can't remember now. I haven't got the album. So.
Okay, The Doors.
The Doors.
All right. Well, the one I've chosen for D, which I thought you might. I forgot about The Doors. Maybe I'm thinking my brain rather than yours. I don't know. I've gone for Ian Dury.
Interesting, because I did think about Ian Dury.
And the
but
Blockheads.
I didn't think he held as much esteem as the Doors did. And I assume that we both know who Pete's gone for.
I can have a guess, but yeah.
So could I. But anyway,
we'll come on to that in a minute. I've gone for Ian Dury anyway. He wasn't around for long. He's only around for 57 years on the planet, but he did his thing. Leader of the Kilburn and the High Roads originally, and then with Ian Dury and the Blockheads, of course. He was born in Harrow Weald, apparently, not Upminster in Essex, which is what he was trying to promote, the fact that he was born there, but he wasn't. Big on the pub rock circuit, but no more. This is Kilburn and the High Roads, anyway, his first band, but no more than cult status. And you know what I think about cult status? Basically means
it means they can't spell.
They're not that good. They're not that good. Oh, they can't. Yeah, they can't spell. There's that option as well. But yeah, I think cult status, and I think of. Yeah, I mean, we'll get onto. I'm thinking like Radiohead, for example. It's like real. We were discussing this sort of cult bands. You don't really know why people like them because they're not that great, but you like them because they're by that particular artist. But anyway, so they disbanded, and then he had a solo single with "Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll," which was banned, funnily enough, by the BBC.
There's a shock.
On Stiff Records.
Was it banned because of the rock and roll, the sex or the drugs?
The rock and roll, I'm guessing. They don't like a bit of rock and roll, do they?
No.
But that's an iconic line that is still used in popular culture today, isn't it? Sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Yeah.
Body needs.
Good old Ian Dury. And then his debut album came out, New Boots and Panties, which is a great album. Platinum status it got, in fact. And then he was on the Live Stiffs tour with a lot of other bands from the Stiff Stiff Records canon. A lot of hit singles as well. What a Waste. And of course, the number one with Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. What else did he have? You probably know more about the band, do you, Geoff, than I do? But you think they're a tight band, aren't they?
I think they're one of the best backing bands there's ever been. In fact, if we did an OTR about backing bands, I would have them at the top.
The Blockheads.
They are all musical geniuses, and the fact that they play well together is a joy and a bonus to everybody. Because actually they're all of the ability where they might not have been able to gel, but they can. And as far as I know, they're still touring. They're still playing.
I don't know how many of them are left, the original members.
I don't know. The guitarist is for definite. Whose name I can't remember.
Is that the songwriter? Was it Chaz?
Yeah, he was our friends. He was on our friends' books for a little while. I don't know.
I remember. But anyway, I've written down here, blended creativity with the rebellious spirit, and his legacy continues after his death. His legacy continues to inspire new generations of artists. Of course, he had diagnosed with polo when he was 7.
You mean polio, not polo. It wasn't.
I said polo. I meant polio.
He's
You're
got
not my
hold of
writing.
it. He's got hold of it. He's his white, not red.
That's true. He's not the Japanese flag. Polio. Which
he was a poetic genius, absolute lyricist.
Yeah, he was. He
genius.
was the punk poet.
Fantastic.
He was a punk poet with polos.
I thought John Cooper Clarke was the punk poet.
Yeah, he was.
He's a punk poet as well. He didn't sing though, did he?
No, thankfully not.
No.
I was listening to him the other day. He's so funny.
He is funny.
Very good.
I would imagine Ian Dury, during his lifetime, was a bit of a git. He had that impression. I don't know why.
He said this though, didn't he? Because he did one of the comic relief tours of Africa.
Right.
Said that he did it because I think he'd been diagnosed as poorly before he did it, and he said like he had realised over his life that he hadn't lived it the way that mankind should live their lives, and he felt that he wanted to give something back before it was too late.
Well, okay. Well, Ian Dury, rest in peace, sir. Okay, so Stinks.
Right. The Mark 8 version of this band is actually their longest serving lineup, which is 20 years. And in that 20 years, it's produced 6 studio albums. But the numbers are incredible. So 100 million plus album sales, okay? 23 studio albums, 50 live albums, 26 compilation albums, 3 EPs, and 58 singles. Deep Purple.
Oh, that's not the one I was going for.
Right.
Who are you going for?
Formed in London in 1968. The pioneers of hard rock, part of the unholy trinity with Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. Listed in the 1975 Guinness World Record as the globe's loudest band, which was from a gig at the Rainbow Theatre. Spawned a load of very successful spin-offs, including Rainbow, White Snake and Gillan, now comprising the original members, Ian Pace on drums, Roger Glover, Ian Gillan, and then Don Airey, who replaced the sadly departed John Lord, and Simon McBride, who replaced Steve Morse. And of course, he was the one who plays that absolutely brilliant guitar solo on Sometimes I Feel Like Screaming, much beloved by me and Nikki and various other listeners to your esteemed radio show. I cannot see any argument against them being in any kind of music hall of fame. That output is astounding. 23 studio albums, 50 live albums. You know, their output is incredible. And they didn't really ever have a dip either. Well, if you listen to their stuff in the 90s, like Perpendicular and Perfect Strangers, you listen to the much more recent stuff like Throw Your Bones, they've been consistently good right the way through their careers, really from the get-go. And I think that they sit there in that very, very small group of, with Zeppelin and Sabbath as being, standout of the genre. So Deep Purple for me, no contest.
Okay. Deep Purple, Black Sabbath comparison you had there, I noticed at the end. Sneak that one in.
Only because they are the unholy trinity. They're called the unholy trinity: Purple, Zeppelin, and Sabbath.
Oh, okay, all right.
They're referred to as the unholy trinity
because one of those we've established is heavy metal, and the other two aren't. Is that right? Just so I get this,
No, okay.
Get this right.
Deep Purple are defined as being the
heavy
precursors of both hard rock and metal.
Okay.
That's what Wikipedia defines them as. Personally, I would say that Zeppelin and Deep Purple are hard rock. Sabbath are metal, but that's because I think that metal started in the Midlands, and Zeppelin and Deep Purple came out of London. So I think that hard.
Zeppelin.
No, Zeppelin were formed by Jimmy Page, and he's a Londoner. And so
right, okay, not because what's his face? Plant is from Wolverhampton.
Plant is from Wolverhampton, and John Bonham's from there as well. But they're basically a London band. So it doesn't. It's a big argument which people will have till the cows come home. Basically, Peter, they're referred to as the unholy trinity, and
Peter, is there not a lyric in one of the Deep Purple songs that says heavy metal? No, which is where the phrase came from.
Possible. I think
it is.
I suppose their first album was before Sabbath, anyway, wasn't
it? Yeah. Sabbath didn't start till 1970. They were 69, weren't they? But then again, if you listen to the early Deep Purple stuff, it isn't as hard as the later stuff, anyway.
No, it's not. Was it Shades of Deep Purple? Was that their first one? Oh, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Shades of Deep Purple, which was Hush, was the single off that, and then The Book of Taliesin was the second one.
Did you say Hush? Hush, was that on that? Was that what you said? Yeah, I remember. I was coughing at the time. Yeah. Okay. Deep Purple. All right, that's not the one I thought you were going to go for, but yeah, obviously, you would go for that one.
I've got. Who did you think I was going to go for, Carl?
Well, the other one was a band of non-brothers.
Yes, that's the other band I've got as my
other one you've got. You have to say that for another day.
I thought he was going to go for Bob Dylan.
Oh, well, that's another option.
Well, and of course, Black Sabbath is a B option. So
another B option. Yeah, you can't have them all.
Plenty to go around.
Can't have them all. Are we going to have this every week, like having, or not every week we do it, I should say, where we throw in 3 inductees straight away, or it's just this first one?
I think we throw. Well, no, I think we can, because I think there are some which should, I can think of half a dozen now, we've got to be in there. But anyway, we can talk about it.
We'll come on to that. Right. So finally, on to the letter E.
Well, Peter, all those fantastic amounts of volumes that you've just given us for albums that Deep Purple have done. Are you ready for this? I'm going to give this to you first. 69 albums. Plus 27 posthumous albums.
Dead then.
Dead then. 18 live albums. Plus 47 posthumous live albums.
That's hard to do. It's very hard to do a live album when you've been dead, especially 47 times.
And nearly 200 compilations.
This sounds like something jazzy.
Okay. Born in 1899.
Definitely jazzy.
Definitely jazzy.
Died in 1974. Jazz pianist, leader of a jazz orchestra for 50 years. The king of all, Sir Duke.
Yeah,
Duke Ellington. Mum and Dad were both pianists. I love this. This really interests me. Mum and Dad were both pianists. Mum played parlour songs. Dad played opera. Okay, and Mum and Dad were children of slaves. So we're only talking 2 generations from slavery to total stardom. Started at the Cotton Club, Duke Ellington and whatever, started at the Cotton Club, as so many people did. Composed or collaborated on over 1,000 compositions, and thus holds the record for the most extensive body of recorded personal jazz pieces. He did record for most of the American record labels of his era. He wrote film scores, he wrote theatre scores, musical scores, and is widely noted as the most significant composer of the jazz genre. He famously fired Charlie Mingus. That would be interesting. That would be a conversation that would be worth having, wouldn't it? He was awarded a posthumous Pulitzer Special Award for Music. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from no other than Dickie Nick. There is a Duke of Ellington School of Arts in Washington, which is where he comes from. There is a bridge that they call the Duke of Ellington Bridge, and another school in New York are named after him. He was the first African American to appear by himself on a US mint coin. Brubeck, Davis, and Mingus and Stevie Wonder have all written songs named after him. What else is there to say? Grammy Lifetime Award, 14 Grammys altogether, Grammy Hall of Fame. There's not much else to say. Like of all the people that there are, of all the within his genre, even though there's so many good ones, like none of them get anywhere close to his output, at least.
No.
He's probably had a pub named after him, hasn't he, as well, like the Duke of Ellington, maybe something like that. I would have thought.
I would be surprised if there was
a Wellington, but you were close.
Oh well, I knew it was something like that.
Yeah, and that one got the boot, I believe.
Very good.
So there you go, Duke Ellington.
Duke Ellington. Okay. Right, my E. I know. Neil sent me 5 A to E artists actually, and we're not actually, well, so far at least, unless Stinks has got one lined up, we're not actually mentioned any of them. They all could be in there. Could all be in there. But I'm the E. I was umming and ahhing about, but I've decided to not go for them, just for the longevity of their career. I've gone for the band who their band name was a pun of electric light and light orchestral music.
I wonder who this could be.
Yeah, what do you think? I'm going for the Electric Light Orchestra.
That is not a surprise.
Formed, no, I know it's not. It's a bit predictable.
Okay, good.
Formed out of the remnants of 3 members of the Move: Roy Wood, Bevan, and Jeff Lynne, of course. It's another. I could use the word fusion again. Well, I don't like to, but it does sort of mix. That's a better word. I don't know. The sort of pop and classical arrangements, and that was their aim. Roy Wood left after 1 album. It went on to be. Jeff Lynne then continued, obviously, with maybe the more commercial sound, but still with the orchestral parts in there as well. Whether Roy Wood wanted a little bit more experimental, I don't know, because he then formed Wizard, which was quite commercial. And would you say they're pop? Stink. Wizard.
Yeah.
You would, okay. So you wouldn't want to include Wizard in there. So many albums, 14 albums in the top 40, including Jeff Lynne's ELO, which came out in 2015 and 2019. 2 of those. 9 of them were top 10s. 3 number 1 albums they've had, Discovery and Time. But they're sort of quadrumvirate. That's the word, isn't it? A quadrumvirate of albums. Eldorado, mid-70s. Eldorado, Face the Music, A New World Record, and Out of the Blue, their double album, which is the latter 2 there really got them back on, big time globally. Although that neither of them actually got to number 1, strangely. But there's some of the singles. I mean, A New World Record, Rockaria, Living Thing, and of course the superb Telephone Line. Out of the Blue had such a bunch of great songs. Every one of them almost could be a single, and probably 19 of them were singles. With Turn to Stone and Sweet Talking Woman, Mr. Blue Sky, of course, Wild West Hero. Starlight was a single in the States, but not over here for some reason. But yeah, I love. They had a massive US career as well. Unlike some of the other artists I've had, like ABBA didn't really. Are they just too European sounding for the American market? I don't know. But ELO had a big sort of American following as well, and had some big successes over there. Had a #1 album here with Xanadu as well, actually, which was with Olivia Newton's on, and the soundtrack album. So started in 1970, probably just about retired now. I think from ill health. I think was it Jeff Lynne recently had to cancel some dates. So it isn't a bad career, and I think that their lengthy output of hits, pop or otherwise, because you could arguably say these are a pop band. I think they merited a place.
Are they in the other lot's Hall of Fame?
I've no idea. They're British, so they don't stand much of a chance.
No, that's what I was saying, because they're British, so they're probably not.
Yeah.
But I just wondered, because I mean, their career speaks volumes, frankly.
Yeah. Okay, and I don't know whether they're in the Hall of Fame over there.
Well, I obviously chose two E bands. One, I was certain that one or other of you was going to choose.
Well, yeah, that was the one I was thinking about choosing. The one
that.
Yeah,
so we'll park them and come back to them next time. So
okay.
I'm going to go for the other one. So I'm going to go with
a trio.
A trio, yeah.
A trio.
The first prog rock supergroup. Keith Emerson from Nice, Greg Lake from King Crimson, and Carl Palmer from Atomic Rooster. They were together from 1970 to 1979, from 1990 to 1999, and then for 2010. And at 2010, they played the High Voltage Festival in Victoria Park, and I was there. And not only was I there, I also have the live album that was produced from the High Voltage Festival, which ended up being the last thing they ever recorded. 9 gold albums in the US, 48 million worldwide sales, which is not slouchy. Classical, jazz, symphonic, driven by Keith Emerson's flamboyance on the Moog and the Hammond. And they came to prominence after their Isle of Wight Festival appearance. There's an interesting video, kind of like a documentary about that. The sound quality was so bad that they had to fly in Pink Floyd's PA rig so they could be heard. But I think it's quite brave when you're just starting your career and you are appearing at the Isle of Wight Festival on the bill, which has got Jimi Hendrix on it. It's quite brave that what you decide to do is play the entirety of Pictures at an Exhibition as a one-piece live thing the first time you've done a big live festival performance. So I think for that reason alone, they deserve their place. But they also are one of the bands that they've got 18 live albums, including the classic triple "Welcome Back, My Friends, to the Show That Never Ends," which is kind of their greatest hits but done live.
I was about to say, have they had a greatest hits album?
Well, no. Well, yeah, they have Works. There's an album called Works, which was the first thing of theirs I bought, but I've now got everything except Tarkus, which I'm waiting for. But Welcome Back, My Friends is one of the. It's a very, very good live album. It's one of that kind of list of bands that did triple live albums in the 70s. But it's quite, and it's if you're talking about things that you don't get in the modern era with downloads and all the rest of it, it's a triple gatefold sleeve with an E, an L, and a P with the vinyl behind each of them. So it's kind of very cleverly done. It's really nicely packaged and produced. So yeah, ELP for me.
So a nice conclusion there. ELO followed by ELP, which was nice and neat, wasn't it?
We'll go for British. Bands which have just got letters in the
3
title.
initials. Yeah. All right. Do you mention Neil's ones? I mean, we haven't mentioned any of them today, but we can certainly discuss them on other days. Actually, he's gone for given that the band were also called this before he then split the band and went on with his own name, Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
David Bowie, which I think Geoff did actually mention earlier on. None of us went for Bowie, but we could well have done. Who transcends, to quote Neil, transcends the genres, defining many. C, a nice curveball, Chaz and Dave, invented Rockney, sing-along, boogie-woogie music enjoyed by all ages.
I love Chaz and Dave.
So do I.
I can't stand Chaz and Dave.
You don't like Chaz and Dave?
Brilliant musicians.
They were brilliant musicians. When they were playing in proper bands, they were great. But sorry, all that Rockney stuff does my head in.
Fabulous.
Well, I agree. So other opinions are welcome.
Wrong.
D, but wrong. D, Delamitri, Scottish jangly indie pop perfection, and the Eagles, which was assuming the band that we were talking about.
Yeah,
that was
that none of us chose because we all thought everyone else was going to.
We all thought everyone else was going to choose it.
We
but
can't.
I
Yes,
thought,
but we're going to come
save them
around
up.
this circle several times. There's no way that Eagles are not going to be in the Hall of Fame. So
they will be at some point. Yeah,
get
definitely.
Yeah.
So the only thing then we're having a change of heart about the inductees. We've got 3 in already. Now we've all given 3 for each letter. What are you saying, Pete? We book them all in?
Well, I think, I think each one of us could argue a reason for maybe 1 or 2. I can't argue with any of Geoff's. All of Geoff's I would put in. They're shoo-ins. So not any kind of debate. Personally, I wouldn't put Ian Jury in there, but I totally understand why you would. But of the other lists, Ian Jury's the only one that I would go, not for me. But,
ABBA?
Geoff, well, I don't like ABBA. In fact, saying I don't like ABBA is understating the case. I can't stand ABBA, but I can't argue that they shouldn't be in a Music Hall of Fame because there's a lot of people who think they're wonderful. So who am I to say they're wrong? I wouldn't choose Elvis, but I completely understand why he would be in there. So, So of the lists that we've all been through, the only one I'd have a question mark over is Ian Jury.
Well, the only one I would be, because I was sort of digging deep. I already had a couple of Bs already gone, with the Beatles, obviously, which went in automatically, and Chuck Berry, which Geoff had too.
Yeah.
So I went for Badfinger. So I wouldn't necessarily put Badfinger in ahead of, say, Eagles or you know what I mean. So
or David Bowie,
or even David Bowie. Yeah, true. But it's got to the point where you think, like, someone's going to go for Bowie, so let's go for something different.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought, we don't want to talk about the same things all the time. So I think that's why I put Badfinger in.
Which was my point of choosing ones which I thought were slightly left field rather than going for the obvious ones, apart from Deep Purple.
I think the Allmans was quite obvious, and I think they should be there.
Yeah, I think LP was quite obvious as well, to be honest.
Janis Joplin's lot, I don't know from Adam personally. I know you lent me the thing. I didn't, but
yeah, but
I believe I believe you that they hold their place. I'm sure they do.
Well, no doubt we can have some of these on the show tomorrow.
Indeed.
You're around after 10, are you? You said, Stinks.
Yeah, and then I'm around on Friday.
So we can spread them out. And yeah, all right. Well, let me know what you want tomorrow. That's the first one done. So we've got some inductees.
It's been very interesting.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it'll be good fun. It's good to have our own list.
Are you keeping a record of these, Col? Are you going to write these down and have a file somewhere?
I definitely will. And I'll obviously the Beatles. Who are the other 3 we put in? Led Zeppelin
and Presley.
Yeah. So I'm going to put them in 1 Beatles, 2. The order we did them actually: 1 Beatles, 2 Led Zeppelin, 3 Elvis Presley, and then I'll just put them in order of the ones that we did them. So Louis Armstrong, ABBA, Allmans.
They don't need to be in order. I think they can just be in. I think that what we'll end up with is that list of 3 will probably end up being a list of 20 eventually, which have got the top 20 because Eagles are going to be in there and Bowie's going to be in there. So they're the obvious shoe-ins. for me.
So we can pick 3 certainties
Each time.
each time we do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so still a chance for the Nolans to make it in for me then.
Yes.
And the Dooleys.
And the
Doolies. Oh, God.
No. Oh, please no.
But Mr. Trick with Dawn and with Brotherhood of Man.
Yes, we did indeed.
Oh, yeah. Another one of Stink's favourites, Dawn.
Yes. Dawn.
Right. And it'll be the crack of dawn if we don't go to bed very soon. So thank you very much, guys, for the first one for our Hall of Fame and Music Off the Record Hall of Fame, brought to you by CBW Productions. And we'll be playing some of these songs on the radio tomorrow. I'll be on air at 8 as usual. I've managed to get through without coughing too much, but
Yeah, you did well.
Doing it a bit. I've got adept with the mute button. This podcast will be posted to the usual places over the coming days by Shaggy, and well, you never know. One day we will be on
the BBC.
The BBC, the place that banned Ian Dury's Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
Morons, utter morons.
And with My Little Stick of Blackpool Rock by George Formby as well. But that's another issue.
We won't be, because by the time Donald Trump has actually sued them for $1 billion, they won't have any money left to broadcast. So,
okay, yeah. So we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We can go on Channel 4. Channel 4, maybe Channel 5.
Channel 4. Channel 4 will have us.
Yeah.
Someone will have to. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Anyway, and all I've got to say now is a good night from me.